Okay everyone, hi and welcome back to my channel, Simple Wife, Happy Life. This is the last day of June. Here's the freezer. A couple of donuts left here, or one donut left there, one donut left there. 4 TV dinners that have been there a while. Package of hot dogs I dug out of the bottom of the refrigerator, or freezer. I told you there was hot dogs in there and turkey franks. I've got some strawberries left from when we went picking strawberries a couple of weeks ago. Some mozzarella cheese for homemade pizzas, 2 little homemade pizzas I made a couple of weeks ago, 2 loaves of bread, that almond stick from Christmas time. I harvested some English thyme, some ice cream to go with those strawberries if the jam didn't turn out. The first batch didn't, the second batch did, and I'll leave the recipe in the show notes. And then some hamburger patties from Hamburger that I took it out of the bottom of the freezer, so I must have, when I brought the hamburger home, processed it, turned it into hamburger patties, and then took and put the other ones into a portion for spaghetti and a portion for lasagna, because those are really the only 3 things we use hamburger for. Very rarely will we have a meatloaf. And of course, if we don't have lasagna, we have spaghetti meatballs, and then we have meatballs. So that's about all that we ever use hamburger for. I don't make casseroles or anything like that. So we went to the bottom of the freezer here, the chest freezer, I'll show you in a minute, and brought up everything that was down there except for the 4 chickens, and then was able to distribute it here in this freezer because, yeah, we finally have room. So we're getting that meat that we bought way last fall used up. So that's the freezer. Package of hot dog buns, and we still have those cheddar cheese curds from around Christmas, New Year's Eve time. This is what the refrigerator looks like. We got a couple of containers of margarine. We were down to almost nothing in the one, so I did buy another one. We're done with cheese sticks after what's in the bowl there, so eventually we're going to have to get another box of those and see what price they're at. Got a couple of yogurts, some milk, some OJ. We got ricotta cheese back there still to make lasagna, and also some Italian cheese, shredded cheese. Got 6 eggs left, a little bit of lunch meat, kitty's food. Once we feed them, we put the tin back in for an hour or so, and then we feed them again. A little bit of yogurt left. My husband breaks those containers of yogurt down into 6, sometimes 7 little containers of it. My mozzarella sticks are still there, a French bread from 3 weeks ago, some water, a little bowl with our first harvest of green beans, and my yogurt. Nothing's really changed here. We got water and jam and supplements, and some of those freeze-dried herbs, and some more water and a root beer, and just a couple of Jellos left. So that is the refrigerator and freezer. We'll show you the chest freezer. Alright, here's the chest freezer. You see, we're working our way down. We took this, I actually do this a couple times a month. So when I did it, I counted the 4 chickens in the bottom. I took inventory of the hamburger that we have. I found some turkey franks. I found some regular hot dogs. I found a bag of French fries. I think that's about it that I found. So I still got a few banana popsicles left. My husband bought these Freezy Pops at the beginning of the year when they were starting to put out summer stuff. You see, we've got this hamburger still from January we've got to eat up. Got hamburger down there from February. So got to get that ate up. Husband still has garlic bread. This is the fries I found near the bottom. So some lunch meat that's been in there a while. And then, of course, we got my husband's ice packs from work. We've got that hamburger that I bought the very last day of May. That'll be ate up last. Otherwise, we got another bag of French fries in here that are unopened, that are way at the bottom. We've got 2 bags of Brussels sprouts and 4 chickens. That's it. So, and this is a homemade pizza that I made. I had a tube of pizza crust that I needed to use up. Actually, 2 tubes. So I made 1 large pizza, cheese pizza, and 2 small pepperoni with some pepperoni I had left over and some mozzarella cheese that had been in the refrigerator since we had lasagna. So that is what our chest freezer looks like on June 30th at the end of the day. Okay, the much promised video of the little pantry that we have in the back. So we have a little section where we have some of our Prego sensitive recipe. We have some pickled beets, tomato paste, some vegan mayonnaise, some chunked salmon, some honey, an empty canister, some backup supplements, Reynolds wrap, and some parchment paper. We've got a big old package of Oreo cookies. I think those have been back there since Valentine's Day probably. My husband's candy bars, little snack candy bars, whittling down, birthday cake that I bought on special, I think on Valentine's Day, I want to say, or Easter, and bought it, I think it was $1 for each one of those things for a birthday coming up early fall. I have some echinacea tea. My husband has these little international coffees. English breakfast tea we buy on special, clearance at TJ Maxx. Some sauerkraut, some wild pink salmon. I like to have that with salads. Organic cocoa. Some of this spread, I think that's probably coming up to date pretty soon. Some sea salt and some Caro syrup that I bought a couple of Christmases ago for recipes and decided, no, I'm not going to use it. But I'm not going to throw it away either. In case I do find a recipe that I need to use and I need some of it, I don't want to have to go out and buy it again. We've got some marshmallows for the summer for s'mores. I've got some lasagna noodles, some pancake mix from King Arthur, some King Arthur flour, some sprouted oats, some Bob's Red Mill. I think this is flour, yep. More flour. So that would be probably one thing that I did try to get a hold of during the pandemic. Probably the latter part of it, not definitely the first part because I already had flour. I try to make my own pizza crusts, or at one time I did. Made my own pizza crusts, was learning how to make bread, and was also making dinner rolls. So I had a good amount of bread flour on hand, probably 5-pound bags of bread flour at the time of the pandemic. And then during the pandemic, when flour became hard to find, I wasn't going to sit and stockpile flour and then have bugs all over. So I just started buying the tubes for dinner rolls or biscuits and for pizza crusts and just buying bread. So, and then probably a year and a half into the pandemic when flour went back down and was in abundance, I went out and bought some more. And then I'm going to get back now to making my own dinner rolls and pizza crust again. Probably not my own bread. I don't really have the time for that. Bottom shelf, we have some butane. I think that's for a cook stove that we have for camping. I have the sealant for the deck, a backup of Swiss Miss hot cocoa, a box that we got at Sam's here at the first of the year of Elbow macaroni. We've got an empty M&M container and some 1-liter bottles of Evian. So that is our famous backup pantry. We have some applesauce here. We were eating Mott's because that was all that was available to us, but that has a lot of sugar in it and it pours out like water. So we finally found some Indian Summer in stock, which has, I think, 11 grams of sugar. It's about $1 cheaper than the Mott's, and so thankfully we've got that in the shelves again. Some grape jam for the birds. That's what our house finches and orioles eat. So I've got to have a stock of that until they go south again in September. So I'll have my Easter candy, a couple of boxes of Raisin Nut Bran. We cracked open that case of Bush's beans, and we've had a couple of those. We've got some pumpkin from last fall that's still good for this fall. Some backups of kitty food. Some water. Down here, another container. I bought 4 containers all total. If I did that, I got each one for $5 something at Sam's here a couple of months ago. A container of laundry soap and Kitty's dry food in the plastic Rubbermaid container. This used to be our junk shelf. It used to be packed through 2 or 3 levels. Now we have coffee, a bag of Doritos, some M&Ms that were bought last fall, some Skittles that were bought last summer or fall, some Milanos that were bought at the first of the year that are still not open. My husband sometimes orders from a Dutch import store, so those are sprinkles that you put on bread. You take the bread, you butter it, and you put these little chocolate sprinkles on it. Sometimes people use these same things for ice cream. I've got some Luna mini bars for taking on walks, and my husband still sticks with his Stroop waffles for now to have coffee on Sunday afternoon. He has one of those and dips in it. So, and his bag of Easter candy from Aldi's is still sitting there untouched as well. So that shelf is getting reduced. We're cutting out the junk. We really aren't snack people. At least I'm not. I just don't believe in snacks. But my husband does like to have the occasional bag of chips and the occasional handful of peanut M&Ms and a Stroop waffle. So there you have it. My Easter candy had one more package of those Russell Stover marshmallows. That's all I had at Easter time. That was it. Nothing else. And there it sits. So that's it. There's no hidden cupboard or hidden stash of food. What's here would last probably, some of it, like the condiments like ketchup and mustard that we have here. We have a couple backups of ketchup, a couple backups of mustard. That's going to last us the rest of the year. Each container lasts 3 or 4 months, so we're good on that. The paste and the mayonnaise and the salmon and the spaghetti sauce, those will all be gone in the next 2 months. Cookies will be gone because they'll need to be gone. They're due to be gone in July. And the cake mix will be done early fall. The breakfast tea will be around for a while. The sauerkraut will be done here in the month of July, as long with the salmon. Organic cocoa will probably be here till baking season with the iodized salt. Lasagna noodles will be used up in the next 2 lasagna dishes. The pancake mixes in the next 2 breakfasts that I have. The marshmallows with s'mores. And if I get back to making the pizza crusts and the dinner rolls, the flour will be gone by Christmas time. So it's just not a whole lot of backup. We don't have any canned goods, and I don't have any produce frozen right now because the couple of farmers markets that we've been to haven't had anything yet. So that is a look at our back stock, our stock up, our pantry, and that's basically the end of the June No Spend Challenge. I apologize for the first video that had why we're doing this challenge and how much money was spent on groceries and what the first look of our refrigerator freezer was. I inadvertently, when I went to my phone to look at videos in my library, I saw one that was waiting, and that I thought it was a duplicate of that first video. I deleted it, and here, for some odd reason, a YouTube glitch, it was the first video. And this was weeks after the first video was uploaded, published, and watched. So, not really sure what that was all about. But I do apologize. That's why I'm throwing in this one at the last. I'll have information in the show notes. I'll have a little chat during this video, and then I hope everyone has a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Keep safe, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Hey everyone, I'm Kim from Simple Life, Happy Wife, and here I am in the car again. This video tonight is the last video of the June No Spend Challenge. I apologize, as I'll say in the video probably twice more, for the first video in this series just was accidentally deleted. I went on my phone, I was looking at my video library for my YouTube videos, and I could see a video waiting. It looked like a duplicate of that first June No Spend. I deleted it, and when I went back in my library, that video, which had been published 2 weeks prior and had views and comments, and that was just gone. So I'm not sure what happened there. I am really disappointed. It had a lot of view time, it had a lot of wonderful comments, and I think that it was, it was the beginning of the video, so obviously it's needed for this series, but there you have it. It's the reason why I'm doing this last video, to give you a look at, this is the shape our refrigerator is in, and it usually looks like this. We get it down to bare, we go out and we buy some basics, and then we've got basics for another week or a week and a half. We generally do our toiletries or, just household products and that. We do a couple of bulk shoppings a year, so you won't see that in our groceries. We do the meat probably once or twice a year, so you generally won't see meat in our grocery hauls. You generally will just see things that we've bought for birthdays or Christmas or anniversaries, or things that we bought. We do get an allowance or enough money to buy a little something here and there. We'll generally see something for the cat. You'll usually see our staples, just the things that we eat on a regular weekly basis and fresh produce. So when this challenge came along, it was, I have to use up the meat that's in the refrigerator from last fall and last winter that has to be gone. And we have to figure out a different plan, a different strategy going forward, because groceries are very high. There's a lot of things that we have had to give up. There's a lot of brand names that we've had to give up to go with just the no name or the great value brand, and that's fine. That's a strategy in how we survive when groceries get too expensive. So for us, it is an emergency situation to go out and buy a homestead or go out and buy some farm animals. We have relationships with farmers. If we need milk or meat or eggs, we would be able to take care of that through our relationships with farmers that we know, as well as fresh produce. And 'tis the season. We're going to farmers markets. There's local ones. There's also ones that we can go to 50 minutes away. And soon I'll be buying that produce, probably not as much as normal years, and I will be processing that and putting it in our freezer, which is another reason why everything that's in that freezer has to be ate up. Whether that looks like a strategy that looks wise or not, it has to be gone because I need that room to put in fresh produce, freeze it, because that's the way that I process and preserve our food. It works for us. It tastes great when it comes back out because we eat that processed or preserved food within 3 to 6 months. It doesn't sit there for 9 months or a year and a half. So that was another strategy in getting the cupboards cleaned out, making sure we don't have expired or outdated food, making sure that freezer is ready for our fresh produce this summer. And we will buy groceries as we can afford to buy groceries. I make the budget up at the end of last year, so we know what we can afford for groceries. And when we hit that mark, there's no more money left for food or groceries. So, like I said, we develop strategies. We don't bargain hunt or run around the countryside looking for the best buy. We just buy what we can, and when we can't buy it, we don't buy it. So it's been something that's worked for us for our entire marriage, which is going into almost 30 years, and I think it will continue working as we move forward. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series. Another one will be coming in September. I'll give you another look at that refrigerator. I'll give you our fall spending strategy, our fall grocery budget. I'll show you what I preserved from summer farmers markets. So you'll have that. If that sounds interesting to you, hit the subscribe button. That'll be coming up in September. In July, and that will be some shopping hauls, because obviously we will be buying some groceries, and you'll definitely see some of the farmers markets hauls and me preserving some of the food that I get at the farmers market. So I hope you've enjoyed this series. Again, be safe, stay well, and I'll talk to you again.